Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here with yet another One Piece reflection at the end of the month of April. It is now April 30th, the last day of April, obviously, and as you guys know, I tend to do One Piece reflections on the past One Piece chapters we get within a month. Now, in this month, we got 3 chapters, chapter 939, 40, and 41. Now, starting off with the first chapter we get of this month, chapter 939, I'm actually doing a new setup now, because it was presented to me that, well, I actually kind of knew it, obviously. Whenever I did my One Piece reflections, I just did it off of memory, and it actually made my reflections a lot more incoherent than I would if I, read the chapters beforehand, or, made notes of it. So, I'm doing something new. I'm having the chapters up here right now so we can skim through them and also point out important details due to each chapter. So, with chapter 939 and Old Horse Knows the Way, this is the chapter where Luffy is, learning to try and use haki to hit without actually hitting. But before we get into that chapter, hold on. The first thing that happens in the chapter is that Zoro's surprised to find out that Komurasaki, aka Hiyori, is actually Momonosuke's younger sister, even though he's been sent 20 years into the future, and his younger sister is now 26 while he's still 8 years old. So, Hiyori's surprised that everyone survived because as far as she knows 20 years ago, everyone just disappeared within a flash. Momonosuke, Kiku, Raizo, Kanjuro, and Kinemon, they all just vanished out of nowhere during the siege of the Kozuki family led by Orochi and Kaido. So she's explaining like the rumors of the Kozuki family return so he's still alive since a strong and kind samurai from the outside world appeared at the same time that rumors of the Kozuki family's return began to circulate throughout the country. And she's explaining, and she's actually kind of confused because she keeps thinking, like, oh, this is a friend, but it could also be an enemy trying to capture me. And Zoro just reassures her that, everything's fine. And then Zoro's all like, I think I get it now. So this is what happened. Momo was sent 20 years into the future and stayed 8 years old. That's why his younger sister is now 26. And of course, Toko knows, but, Toko, she just happy-go-lucky with everything. Just like everybody else in Ebisu Town. In Ebisu. So, as we learned that throughout the years with her being alone, actually one of the people that was left behind to take care of her was none other than Kawamatsu, who we come to find out is called Kawamatsu the Kappa. And I don't know if this is, and the Kappa part of him, which is kind of, foreshadowed upon or taken, shed a little light on from Hiyori is the fact that he could be an actual devil fruit user, because the way she phrases it, it makes it seem like he could be like some sort of Zoan type, but we haven't seen his body as a whole to actually confirm this. So he could actually be a Zoan type, but we just haven't seen it, because the way she makes it sound, the people of Wano think that people who have powers or devil fruit abilities, they think it's some sort of like demon or whatever, or like demon magic, but it's not actually. And they don't know what haki is. They don't know what devil fruit are. They just think it's like some sort of ninjutsu or some sort of secret, secret way of the monk style. I've been playing a lot of Sekiro, I'm sorry. But the way that the people of Wano see things differently, it makes one think like, wow, they have absolutely no idea what's going on in the outside world. So, Hiyori was thinking like it was some sort of like a demon form, even though it isn't. So, as that goes on, Zoro's all like, why didn't you just go with them? Because in case the plan failed, they wanted to ensure that there was a way for the Kozuki bloodline to survive. That is the reason why Hiyori was left behind. Because just in case everything went south, they at least had Hiyori to carry on the Kozuki name. And while she was by herself, Kawamatsu took care of her, always made her laugh, did dances for her, made food, gave her food, and he actually went hungry so that she could eat. And she says, we were separated from one another when she was 13. But Kawamatsu is a very strong samurai. He must be waiting somewhere for the final battle. I really want to see him again. So Kawamatsu, as we know, he's stuck in Udon right now. But Raizo and the others are actually working on him to, free him and whatnot. And she's also surprised that Nekomamushi and Nunuarashi are there as well, because she thought they died. And she's got like a little happy face, but she's keeping from tearing up. So, in retrospect, what's revealed to us that the 9 scabbards, Kinemon, Kanjuro, Raizo, Okiku, Inuarashi, Nekomamushi, Kawamatsu, Denjiro, and Ashura Doji are the only 3 people left that have yet to join up. And we haven't even met this Denjiro guy. But his name is mentioned, so this is just another person that we have to see in the upcoming chapters. So as this goes on, Zoro confirms to us that the picture helped spread the information faster, but the most important part, the meetup location, was leaked, and now our allies are being captured one by one. In the last chapter before this, everyone was getting rounded up. Anyone who had a crescent-shaped moon tattoo on their ankle and those calling cards are getting rounded up because someone leaked all that's going on right now. So, no matter how you look at it, it's not a good situation. I wonder what's going to happen. We may have more boatmen now, but our boat definitely isn't moving like we want to. Maybe I should stop thinking about it. So, as this is going on, I am so happy my brother's alive, Otoko. They're so loud. How am I supposed to sleep like this? But to think that he's still 8 years old, how mysterious, because she doesn't realize how time travel works. Everyone is going to look the same as back then. I wonder what would happen if I went to meet him now. Well, maybe I should wait until after the final battle. Otherwise, it might disturb their plans. And that Otoko and everyone is sleeping after she says this. So we cut towards the flower capital, where everyone is being rounded up by Fukuro Kuju. And they're being rounded up in the Rasetsu District Prison, aka the Prisoner's Showcase. And they're all being put on display for everyone in the flower capital to see. So they're rounding up every single person that could aid the Straw Hats and, the 9 scabbards. And everyone who's in this plan to overthrow Kaido and Orochi. They're all being rounded up in this one specific prison. So this is the worst possible situation. I hope they don't think we ran our mouths. Captain will definitely believe us. And in this group is Beppo, Shachi, and Penguin, which leads one to believe that Law is just going to wreak havoc in order to get his crew members back. To think there were this many, all of you passerbys take a close look. And they're all put out on display to, be made fun of by everybody else here. How unfortunate, your plan has been exposed already. You have failed, says Fukuro Kuju. Hold on a second, Sir Fukuro Kuju. What proof do you have that the symbol is a mark of rebellion? It's nothing more than a long-forgotten symbol that used to be popular. I know nothing of any rebellion. Silence. If that is the truth, then why do you also have this riddle in your possession? Lord Orochi put out an imperial order, so just stay there and behave yourselves. So, and then we cut to the Udon Mines, and this is where Luffy's fighting along with Grandpa Hiyu, and we see our first view of Alpaca Man and Madillo Man. I kept calling him Dandillo. I don't know why I kept adding an N in there. I don't know. But we see another smile, 2 more smile users, and this is the end of the line for you two. We have sea-sewn bullets made exclusively in the Wano country. Hey, put your gun away, Madillo Man. And as they're going on, Luffy is using his budding future sight to aid Grandpa Hio, because Grandpa Hio's fast, but he's not Luffy fast. So Luffy's telling him where to go in order to avoid every single attack that's being outputted by Alpaca Man. And it's enabling Grandpa Hio to survive. And as we look through this chapter, Luffy's just dodging it effortlessly. And as he's fighting, he's trying to punch. He goes to punch Madillo Man, but he stops short of it because he keeps armoring up in armament hockey, which is not what he's trying to do. So as we learn, he's trying to actually hit people without actually hitting them. And we see 2 panels where Rayleigh uses hockey to, shove the elephant. And Sentomaru uses that same sort of skill to, hit Luffy without actually hitting him. Ashikata Dokoi. So that's what Luffy's trying to learn. And Grandpa Hio says, I know how to, we have a name for that. But he goes to show Luffy, and he's all like, I don't know if what I'm doing is right. Actually, let me just go right here. All right. In the past, this is how I'm going to do it from now on. So that way, if it leads up to it, I'll just read the panel that leads up to it, so it's a lot more coherent. In the past, I was known as the Mighty Blade, and I do not know if I will be able to teach that power to you, but please watch this. And firstly, he says, I've seen it before, and it's still color of armament hockey, but this hockey you speak of must be what outsiders call it. Straw Hat Man, here in Wano, we also have an ability like that. It is transferred to a sword from the user's body, so that when we want to cut something, our sword will cut even the thickest of steel, and when we do not want to cut something, our sword will not cut the thinnest of paper. The sword becomes one with the sword master. Now, this has been heavily foreshadowed, like, really early in One Piece. Especially if you watch, if you read the manga and you watch the anime. This was specifically foreshadowed during Zoro's fight with Daz Bones, Mr. One, in the Alabasta arc. And we see, when they're about to land the final cuts on one another, we see Zoro take his sword and just slash off to the side and go through some leaves, and not a single leaf is cut. But then he cuts like a chunk of building that's next to him, like a massive chunk of building, and it just splits straight down the middle. And he uses the same amount of strength to do both. So this has been teased to us like years before we even got to this point. So Oda is just like, a master of foreshadowing. So Grandpa Hio demonstrates this and nails Alpaca Man straight in the chin, knocking him out without actually even touching him. And Luffy's like awestruck. He deflected it! And Queen is all like, you still got some life left in you, Gramps. And everyone's surprised that Grandpa Hio took him down. But Grandpa Hio's all like, what were you trying to do? Was that it? If so, I may be able to help you. Whoa, that's the one. Please teach it to me. So that's the end of the chapter of 939. And this is where Luffy gets really interested in trying to learn this power. And we also, find out about Hiyori and everything. But this is just telling me that Luffy's skill set is going to improve all the more. Because I keep thinking of Sage Jutsu, Senjutsu, whenever I think of being able to hit people without touching them. Especially, it's really prevalent whenever you think of, Jiraiya or Naruto versus Pain. It just makes me think that Luffy is going to get to the point where he's going to be able to hit people without actually hitting them. And with his, and I mentioned this in the comment before, with his unorthodox fighting style, he's going to be able to be even he's going to be a dangerous and destructive force to be reckoned with. With him being able to hit people without hitting them, even, say for example, he was to use Gear Force Snake Man. And he used it in combination with this technique that he's having Grandpa Hugh teach him. Even if his attack does not hit, it's gonna hurt. Because it's still, even if it doesn't physically hit, it's gonna metaphysically? How do you describe something hitting you physically but not physically? Pseudo-physically? I don't know. Even if he doesn't hit them physically, his hockey is going to allow him to hit people without actually touching them. So something as destructive and as fast as Snake Man, which is essentially his speed form. I think of Luffy's forms in the same form as I think of Deoxys from Pokemon. He's got a defense form, he's got an attack form, and he's got a speed form. Snake Man is his speed. I want to say Bound Man or Bounce Man is his attack, and Tank Man, well, it could be like his temporary defense form, because that was only because he was eating a ton of biscuits from, Cracker from the Whole Cake Island. But we have yet to see an official straight-up defense form. But I don't know. So that's chapter 939. And if I missed some things, then I probably glossed over them because they weren't as prevalent as some of the things in the previous chapter. Moving on to 940, the Spark of Rebellion. In this chapter, we have like a flashback of Law going, I won't forgive you for downing my comrades. Because in previous chapters, Shinobu was very ready to go ahead and kill Law's crew members because she thought that they were the ones who leaked it. And she thought that the only way to ensure there won't be any more leaks is to go kill Beppo, Shachi, and Penguin. Of course, with it being law, he cares for his crew, and he's not going to let anybody, manhandle him. And especially if he finds out that Beppo, Shachi, and Penguin have been manhandled up in the Rasetsu district, people gonna get scalped. So as that goes on, he says, I won't give you for downing my comrades. Alliances without trust might as well not exist. There's no way I can leave this in your hands. And then Law just leaves. And they're all in Ebisu Town right now. And as we find out, there's like some lawless people there. Refuse to be helped by you lowlifes. What's going on? I hear angry voices coming from the town. We got an old lady called it finally appeared, the Azuki Baba. And that's sort of rude on Usopp's part because he's just saying that based on how this old lady looks. But she says the new people that are there in the town, they are new in town. They are former citizens of the capital that were dropped off here yesterday. And the reason why they say dropped off is because if you are not able to sustain your financial state in the flower capital, you're kicked out. Anyone who is not rich is kicked out, and they are never allowed back in again. So as this goes on, we find out that there's one dude, there's a man named Bungo, a former underling of the capital officials who set fire to the citizens' homes every night. Every night! Do you know how much effort that takes to set fire to people's houses every single night? That's a lot of gasoline, that's a lot of fire, that's a lot of wood. You got to get up and you got to plan which house you're going to set on fire every single night. He bribed the higher-ups to cover up his crimes, and he's an arsonist. Only those who help line the shogun's pockets are allowed to live in the flower capital. So those three must have committed some seriously bad deeds. Bungo, the arsonist guy. Then we have Bongo, a lumber dealer. He profited from the arsons by selling lumber to those who needed to rebuild their homes. And then there's Bingo, a former priest and casket maker who would take advantage of those in mourning after the fires to sell his services at an outrageous price. So Bingo, Bungo, and Bongo all worked together to, line their pockets. Bingo, Bongo, and Bungo, they were working together the whole time because they bribed the officials in the capital. They were never caught. Though they may act innocent, they are nothing more than evil criminals. But the funniest thing about all of this is all three of them fell madly in love with Komurasaki, the courtesan of peerless beauty. She actually just passed away yesterday. So all three of these men were enthralled by Hiyori during the time she was Komurasaki, and they all gave up their worldly possessions and did everything they could to, have her. Just like the old man did, where he sold his house, he sold his family members, he sold his entire farm and everything just to be with her, only to find out that she got the money for herself. And then he got kicked out of the capital. And then he tried to kill her along with some other men who lost all of their belongings, but it was met with, a swift end. They gave everything they had to the courtesan and went bankrupt in the process. I suppose there is a God after all. Those were just the rumors I heard, by the way. And Lami's all like, that was too detailed to be a rumor. You were telling the truth, right? That must mean that the courtesan knew all about them. Who exactly is she? Oh, yeah, now I remember. Those three tried to cause trouble during the courtesan procession. Yeah, these are the three guys. These are the three guys who tried to take her down when she was walking through the streets. And I am sort of sad that it actually didn't dawn on me when I was reading it the first time. But these are the same guys that we first see try to kill Komurasaki due to her actions. So, as this goes on, and even though Yasu has been taking care of their every need, they have continued to be patronizing. They are truly impossible to deal with. So, think of them as nobles, but Wano versions of nobles. They still think that they're high and mighty and they're above everybody else, even though they're on the same level as the poorest person in the entire country. Oh, I cannot wait for the celestial dragons to get to that point. Toneyasu sure does enjoy taking care of people, even if they are troublesome. So, and then we have Yasu inside. Is it true that this card made us aware of the final battle, but that was to be expected, I suppose. It ended up being distributed into the enemy hands as well, so the plan has been ruined. Yes, you're right. So here's the thing that's confusing me. How did it get in their hands? Who was passing them out that it got into the hands of like Fukuro Kuju and like the rest of them for Orochi to, you know, start handing out like arrest warrants for everybody? Who leaked it for it to get around Wano and the flower capital so quickly? Like, did we have a forgetful person in the crew just hand them out to just in and everybody? Do we have like a mole in the people in a list of people who are supposed to be serving the Kozuki family? Is there someone who's actually a double agent who's actually working with Orochi in order to keep him informed of all these events that are happening? Just how exactly did this get so leaked for, you know, all the people that you see inside the Resetsu prison? How did it get to the point where they all got manhandled so quickly? It's just something I'm wondering. And then Yasu's all like, you could go up to them and say it was just a prank, but I guess all of our allies would believe that too. On that note, I did not know about the waning crescent moon tattoo on the ankle. I am sure that there are others who do not know of it as well. Will you please pass on a message from me to Kinemon and the others? I will absolutely fight alongside them. I'm going to be so busy, I wonder where I should start. This is all Yasu. There are many people here who will die from starvation before the final battle in 1 week's time. And he's just laughing about it all. Anyway, I shall excuse myself. And then he runs down and he compliments Usopp, Nami, and the old lady. So even after listening to that guy, I still have no idea how you know each other. And even when they say this, here's the thing. Shinobu and Kanjudo have no idea who Yasu is. Because he's been so nice to him, they thought it would be disrespectful to find out who he is. So they are absolutely clueless on who he is. And Sanji's all like, you talked to him for so long without even knowing who he was. And they're all like, well, he addressed us so friendly, like with honorifics and such. And Robin's all like, seriously? You didn't try to find out who he is? I mean, sure, he was friendly, but you didn't ask him his name? And this is where we see Yasu going around the town just being like the perfect Boy Scout. Just going around being nice to everybody, helping everybody out. It must be hard for you to get up in the morning. I bet it hurts more than working the whole day. I do not have much to give, but take this. I'm going to leave a little millet and water here, so make sure you consume it, okay? And there's like tons of old people in this town, and he's giving them all that he has in order to make sure that they live a little bit longer. And he's going through the whole town doing this. Looks like Tonoyasu is quite well off. He's going around giving out all the provisions. It's not as good as it seems. We get barely anything for the work we do. Yasu sold his only daughter, a girl named Toko, to the capital. So this just, drops on us that Yasu is Toko's father. She sends most of the money she earns to him. Now that you mention it, she did laugh a lot like him too. Because he was able to send Toko to the capital, he thinks it would be a waste to keep all the money for himself, so he takes it upon himself to provide provisions daily to those who cannot work, even if it means that he would go hungry in doing so. So Toko has no idea that, Yasu has no idea that by sending Toko to the capital, he's essentially is having a slightly steady stream of wealth coming to this. I wouldn't say it's a large amount of wealth, but a slightly steady stream of money coming to the town in order to provide for the people who are still there. And I don't think he realizes that his daughter Toko is the one who keeps sending him all the money back. So even as, this dude is one of the best dads. We had Pound, who was the best dad ever, with him wishing the best for, Chiffon and I forget their son's name. Chiffon and Capone. Yeah, I can't remember the son's name. It'll come back to me later. Although he might act like a clown most of the time, he has been beloved. He's been beloved by everyone in this town for a long time now. He is our saint. So this dude has gone above and beyond to make sure that this town is provided for, even though it's a town that's slowly dying. He still goes out of his way to make sure everyone's all right. Then we cut back to the mines. Grandpa Hughes getting ahead of himself, crush him, finish him, Modillo, man. What you outsiders call hockey is known as Ryuo. here in the Wano country. It focuses on the concept of flow. And I'm looking at Grandpa Hiyu. What is Oh, that's Luffy's arms. I was about to say, when did Grandpa Hiyu's arms get so lanky like? But I forgot that he's holding on to Luffy's neck that way. Ryuo, which literally translates to flowing Sakura, shares the same pronunciation as Dragon King or / Emperor in Japanese. Making haki flow into... And Luffy just nails Medillo Man with a haki imbued punch, but it's not that... it's not what he's trying to do. And Grandpa Hiyu says, rather than exerting power, you should take the unnecessary haki surrounding your body and make it flow through your fists. Literally let the nature energy flow into you in order for you to attain Senjutsu. Like, it's right there. It's right there. I know Naruto has been over for a very long time here, but you gotta admit, there's some similarities here. Naruto and his sage arts, let the nature energy and outside energy flow into you and then let it become your power. Rather than exerting power, you should take the unnecessary haki surrounding your body and make it flow through your fists. Take the haki you're not using and imbue it into your own body. Not the haki that's in you, but the haki you ain't using. It just makes you think. And he keeps beating everybody, like, using his haki punches, but it doesn't work. And he's just bodying everybody until it gets sundown. And then it gets to a point where he and Grandpa Hiyu want to talk. So Luffy knocks out the surrounding guards with Conqueror's haki. And then Luffy's all like, do you know about the 4 emperors? No. There are 4 great pirates known as the Emperors of the Sea. Kaido is one of them. I'm going to be the Pirate King someday, so I have to beat them all. The Pirate King? You mean like Roger? And Grandpa Hiyu just straight up says, like, you know Roger? And then Luffy's all like, you knew Gold Roger? Yes, a long time ago when he came to this land. Ah, Kinemon told me about that. Kinemon, how do you know that name? And then we have Caribou come up with Raizo, and they're just slithering out of nowhere. Allow me to explain Hyogoro Dono. And Grandpa Hiyu was surprised to see Raizo. Could not believe that you were that Hyogoro. Hard to believe. And then they basically just... just do a recounts of how they all went 20 years into the future. And then Caribou tries to buddy up to Luffy, trying to say, please let me leave with you on your ship. You're not becoming a crew member on their crew, Caribou. That's not how it's going to be. And one thing that was pointed out to me was Caribou, at one point in recent chapters, Luffy was all like, why don't you go with Kid? And then we don't see anything about that. Then we find out that Kid escapes and Caribou's still there. So apparently Kid didn't want Caribou either, and he left without him. So that's the reason why Caribou is still in the mines. And then Grandpa Hiyu starts to think about that. He was so close to accepting the fact that he could die, but now that he knows that the Red Scabbards are still alive, then he has reason enough to live, and Lord Odin's son Momonosuke is still alive. There's still a reason to live. That means the spark of rebellion has yet to be extinguished. And then he says, Raizo, Straw Hat Man, even in my current feeble condition, there are still things that I can do to help. Please let me be of service to you also. And Raizo's all like, yeah, we need this guy. Let's bring him with us. And then he lets us know that there's more areas to the Udon prison. There's like 4 massive sections. They're already in one massive section, but there are 4 others, which brings 5 in total. There are 4 more areas here in the prisoner mines that are just as big as this place. There are tens of thousands of prisoners here in Udon, but not everyone here is a typical murderer or thief. The crime that most prisoners here have committed is rebellion against Orochi. So pretty much the vast majority of the people who are in the Udon prison are made up of people who didn't want to follow Orochi or who rebelled against him. So given the fact that he says there are tens of thousands of them in these mines, that's a massive army you can give you can, have ready for the final battle on the assault on Onigashima. So with all that being said, I understand now this place is their blind spot. And when Raizo says blind spot, everybody who is, siding with Orochi and siding with Kaido do not think that the one place where they could get the most allies is the place where they have most of them imprisoned. And they don't really think too highly of the people in the prisoner mines to think that they could actually be a threat. So essentially, Raizo's right. This is their blind spot because they don't think that this is the place where the rebellion is where the massive inflow of allies is gonna come from. All of the anger in this country has been festering here. The former Yakuza bosses that supported the Wano country from the shadows are also here. Everyone is here. Literally everyone significant before the rule of Orochi is here in this mine. So they got tons of people who can help them out. And as soon as the people who are really loyal to Odin find out that there's still a chance for them to gain back their country, yeah, it's gonna be like Dressrosa Army all over again. I won't be surprised if I see some face faults in some future chapters. If I speak on behalf of your cause, I am sure that they will be happy to fight in the name of Kozuki. Then we got Kawamatsu in the background, and Raizo says, also, Raizo, in that cell, says Grandpa Hio, yes, I am aware I have already spoken a little with Kawamatsu. He is the one person we need to break out at all costs. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean that Kawamatsu is so strong that he is the first person you need to break out in order to break everybody else out? What type of devil fruit form does he have? I am very convinced that he's a zone fruit user, but they just call it something else because, Wano. So I really want to find out who this dude is. Who is it that he constantly eating poison food? Yeah, I didn't forget about that. What type of devil fruit zone user is he that allows him to eat poison stuff? What animal can eat poison stuff and not die from it? That's what I'm wondering. Is there a Japanese mythological creature that can do this? I don't know. I'll probably look it up. But it just got me thinking, just how strong is Kawamatsu for Raizo says that out of everybody, out of the tens of thousands of people here in this mine, Kawamatsu is one you got to break out first. And then Luffy's all like, I see, so basically if we destroy this place, we'll gain a lot of allies. And Raizo's all like, dude, it's not going to be that easy. Then we cut to the outskirts of Udon, and we see that Big Mom and everybody else who's with Big Mom are literally just outside the mine, and they're closing in fast. And now part of me is thinking that if they don't get Kawamatsu to break through the prison, they got Big Mom to do it. So either way, Udon prison is not going to last much longer. Because you got a massive powerhouse on the way, and you have a supposed powerhouse closing in. So, that is 940, the Spark of Rebellion. Then we move on to the last chapter of this month, 941, Ebisu Town's Most Beloved. And as we move into this chapter, which has a very beautiful color page here, we cut to the flower capital, where Fukurokuju is talking to Orochi, and Orochi is essentially in mourning, because, the whole country, the whole capital thinks that Komodosaki's dead, and they're mourning her, and she has a wake and everything, and Fukurokuju's all like, you gotta focus here. We've captured the witching hour boy. And at this point, we have no idea who it was. And Orochi's all like, I don't care about that. And he's all like, I understand, but his true identity is more important than you think. And then Orochi comes out in his Yamatan form. And he's all like, I don't care. The one person who was beautiful to me is dead all of a sudden. And then he's all like, I may be out of line, but if someone who rebelled against you was allowed to live, your dignity and reputation would have been in ruin. In retrospect, Kiyoshiro made the right choice, and thank you for showing yourself to hear me out. The hero of the poor, the witching hour boy, is currently tied up in the Rasetsu district prisons, but his true identity is... And then this revelation of who his identity is causes Orochi to come out of his zone form and just like awestruck and sweating bullets, all like, why is he alive? What shall we do? We'll make an example of him. I want you to film and broadcast it for the whole country to see. whole country to see. Preparations for the broadcast have already been made, my lord. Kiyoshiro, I don't know about him. This dude has been doing some sneaky stuff ahead of time before anyone has told him to. And he's been doing things. This dude has been lining himself up perfectly. If it's not him cutting down Komurasaki without a second thought, then it's him making preparations to broadcast the example of the Witching Hour boy being made an example of before anyone has made mention of it. Like, even, I want you to broadcast, like Orochi says, I want you to film and broadcast it for the whole country to see. Kiyoshiro is all like, I've already done that. It's already set up. Komurasaki's funeral is today. I had fears that such a large gathering would lead to mayhem, so I prepared it in advance. What is this dude's deal? What is his ulterior motive? I don't know, but we are going to find out soon. I feel like there's something more to Kiyoshiro that meets the eye. I don't know what it is, but he seems like either he could be a double agent, or maybe he has an ulterior motive of his own. What is his history with Orochi, and how did he attain the rank that he has that he has now, to the point where he is able to be in Orochi's inner circle, and enough for Orochi to, even be furious with him because he killed the only woman that he considers the most beautiful in Wano, but still keep him alive. Because, there's a lot of people out there that would quickly kill their subordinates for, ruin their chances with, like, such a beautiful woman like Komurasaki. But Kiyoshiro is able to, he's still alive. Like, there's a ton of people that would kill their subordinates for doing, like, the slightest insurrection. Even if they're, like, their top officials. Like, you got Kaido, who will kill any of his men for, like, the slightest insurrection. But Kiyoshiro has done pretty much what would get most people killed. And he's fine. He's fine. He's got, like, a stern talking to. And now he's fine. So I don't know. The Witching Hour boy shall be laid to rest alongside Komurasaki. He will be the offering to her grave. The two most beloved people in the capital being buried together. What irony. Let us go and watch it in person. Ready the horses. So when we cut to the mines, Kaido is talking to Queen, who now finds out that Komurasaki's dead. And he's kind of laughing at, Queen's misfortune. He's all like, connect to the filming pond snail and see for yourself. And he's just laughing. And this is when we see a filming pond snail. And everyone is all like, yeah, it's bad. We found out about Komurasaki. And then we cut to Luffy and Grandpa Hugh, who have somehow got fat all of a sudden. Like, massively fat. Like, Luffy fighting Cracker and eating all of his biscuits fat. And then Caribou and Raizo are looking on like, should we tell him that all of his Oshiriko somehow disappeared last night? So, pretty much, Luffy and Grandpa Hugh have pretty much eaten all of Queen Shiriko. And do you know what this means? There is no Shiriko in the mine anymore. All of Queen Shiriko is gone. The same Shiriko that Big Mom is looking forward to is now gone. And if Big Mom does not get what she craves, she goes insane. And here's my thinking. What if she has a hunger pain that she regains her memories and she just goes ballistic on top of how she already feels when her hunger pangs are gone? So that's just my thought there. It's just mayhem ensues. Big Mom attacks the mine and everyone escapes during the whole, confusion. And then Kaido comes down there and, well, who knows what could happen. I'm just throwing out theories there. And as it cuts to, at the same time, Kuri, Mount Atama, the thief shoot Tenmaru's base. No, this is no good. The fire's spreading too quickly. We can't extinguish the fire. Everybody run. This is one of Hold'em's lackeys from Bakuda Town. He started the fire. I thought as much. Let's go. I'm going to beat the lights out of that guy. But shoot Tenmaru. If we make a fuss in Bakuda Town, Kaido will send his army after us. And then we go to Kuri in a certain abandoned village. Kinemon, Ashura Doji, is on his way to Bakuda Town. So soon, we must hurry into Arashi. And The fire turned out to be much larger than we imagined. It will be fine as long as he becomes the main target of the beast's pirates. This was the only way to get him to make a move. We must find a solution to our planned setback. Ashura Doji is essential to our cause. So it had me confused when I read this chapter. It made me think that who started the fire? I couldn't tell who. Then it makes me think that they started the fire in order to pin it on Hold'em, in order to get him to go up against Kaido's army, in order to convince him to join their cause. It's a roundabout way of doing it, but it's also an effective way, because Shutenmaru's already fallen for it, and he's already heading to where Hold'em is right now. Then we cut back to Hold'em, who is now conscious again, after so many chapters, with his growling lion stomach. I bet the flower capital is lively today. Turn on the filming pond snail. Yes, sir. And then we have him holding up letters that says, hold on, let me go back. I clicked on the next page. I wanted to inform the capital about Shutenmaru's death from the forest fire, but oh well. Mount Antama thieves were here, Shutenmaru. Like, it's such a simplistic note. Like, if you were smart, you could tell, like, why would they write that they've been here and then sign their names? Serves them right for getting carried away with stealing our weapons and food. And then we cut to Ringo in the Northern Cemetery, and we cut to Brook finding Zoro, who has Hiyori and Toko laying all over him. And, well, this is Hiyori's first time seeing Brook, and she gets surprised, and she screams. And this is when Brook finds out that she is Momonosuke's sister. And then Komasaki's all like, I'm sorry, I was just so cold, I was just sleeping next to you, but the people back in the capital would have died to lay with me. Did you enjoy it? Like, seriously, makes me think that no one really has been with Hiyori when she was Komatsaki. But Zoro's pretty much the only one who's been with her, and, you know, Zoro, he ain't concerned with that right now. It's always the dudes that are not concerned with being around a whole bunch of women that end up being around a whole bunch of women. So maybe that's the reason why Sanji doesn't get none. And then Brook is laughing at that. So as I was saying, I went to the bathhouse in the capital yesterday to meet up with Nami and the others, but they weren't there. You know, events that happened with Basil Hawkins and D.S. Drake, you know, raiding the bathhouse. So Brook couldn't meet him there. Moreover, there's a huge commotion in the capital today. A giant crowd is gathered for the funeral of the courtesan Komatsaki, the most beautiful woman in Wano. Now, of course, Brook does not know that Komatsaki is Hiyori. So that's why there's this little segment where she doesn't say anything at all. And not only that, the great thief who stole money from the rich and gave it to the poor, a man called the Witching Hour Boy, has been caught. So now the commotion has grown even more. The Witching Hour Boy? No way. It seems that nobody knew his true identity. Supposedly, he lives in Ebisu Town and is quite beloved there. Something Yasu. Well, apparently he's actually... What? You mean Tono Yasu? Yes, that was his name. What? That's my daddy! And then Toko just immediately bolts out of the building to go save her dad. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but he's set to be executed today. Daddy, they will kill you too. I'm gonna go after him. I'm truly grateful for you saving us yesterday. Wait, you idiot, you weren't able to protect her before, right? Wait, but I just came here from the capital, Brook says, and everyone just takes off after Toko in order to get to the capital. And then everyone has a massive wake for Komatsaki. The entire city's in mourning. And then the people are asking, why are you heading towards the Rasetsu district? This woman defied Lord Orochi. She will be taken to the Rasetsu district to be cremated as a criminal. And then they cut to Ebisu Town. Look, that's the front of the prison. Tonoyasu is being crucified. Why is this happening? Tonoyasu was the Witching Hour Boy. Yasu, and everyone's laughing at him. And then everyone, a lot of the Straw Hats are there just watching. It kind of reminds me of how all the big name pirates were there for Roger's execution. All these big names are, congregated in one place. But then we find out that Yasu used to be, he is Lord Yasue. And I thought it was called Yasuie. He is Lord Yasuie. In the past, he stood alongside Lord Odin as one of the daimyo of the Kozuki family. He was the daimyo of a Hakume, Yasu the Hedgehog. He was a strict man back then, but now he is barely a shadow of his former self. That old guy, and we cut out to see, and it says Yasuie may be a play on Tokugawa Ieyasu, a famous daimyo and later shogun from Japanese history. And Yasu is just standing there silent, not saying anything at all. Lord Yasuie, thank goodness you survived. Let him down, let Yasuie down. This is a disgrace. And we see Yasu, and he doesn't have his bandana on anymore. He's got like a massive fro, kind of akin to hedgehog quills, that covers like a big portion of his back. And he's laughing, so I have not been forgotten. Your efforts are useless, everyone. Orochi will never let me escape. But I must apologize to all of you for 2 reasons. And I have one thing I want to tell that idiot Orochi. Once I have said my piece, I can finally leave this world with a smile on my face. And Upheaval, what does he want to say? And then we have a small panel with Toko running towards where he is with tears in her eyes, still smiling because, you know, like father, like daughter. So this is the end of all the chapters that we get in April. There has been a lot of things revealed to figure out that Wano has the concept of swordsmanship that allows one to not cut anything at all, even with the sharpest of blade, or to cut through the thickest of steel. Like, not, you know how hard it is to not cut through paper with something sharp? It's kind of hard. And makes me wonder if this is where Mihawk learned his swordsmanship, or like a good vast majority of named people who use swords in One Piece learn their swordsmanship. Like Mihawk being able to cut through literally anything. Could he have learned his swordsmanship from Wano? It makes one thing. Then the concept of using haki to not physically hit somebody, but yet still hit somebody. That's a concept that's revealed. Then we find out that the Witching Hour boy is none other than Yasu himself, who we find out used to be called Yasuie. Yasuie, who used to be a Lord Daimyo that served underneath the Kozuki family. And that he's like the most good, he is the nicest person in all of Wano. Like, everybody has their moments and everything, but Yasu is just like, he is the nicest person out of everybody. And then we find out that Orochi is planning to have him executed in plain sight, in broad daylight, in front of everybody, without any, just to make him an example. I'm sorry, I was thinking of something else. Just to make an example out of him. There's just so much going on in this chapter. Big Mom is literally outside of Udon. We find out that there's tens of thousands of people who would rally against Orochi, and that's why they're in prison in the mines. Caribou is still in prison because Kid didn't take him with him. And then Luffy and Grandpa Hio ate all of Queen Shiruko. Queen finds out that Komurasaki is dead. Brooks tells everybody that Yasu is about to be executed, and then Toko takes off after him. Then there's just so much being revealed in this chapter. So, and you guys know me. I did like a brief reading, but if you guys want to go back over the chapters and read for yourself, like one after the other, just so it can be like incredibly coherent, then Jai Mini's box, which I read it from, has it as well. Of course, I believe that Funimation actually posts their newest chapters on their site as well. I think that's why Roger Base reads his so late within a week. But there's been a lot of good chapters in the month of April. Tomorrow starts May. May starts tomorrow, and you also know what's tomorrow? The reveal of Borderlands 3 gameplay. I'm sorry to get off track here, but I just wanted to say next month starts the Borderlands 3 reveal gameplay that is going to be starting at like 2 something my time. And also, it's also going to be starting my Borderlands 2 playthrough. I cannot wait to play it! Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games ever. But back on subject here, you guys let me know what you thought of all these chapters that we got in the month of April as well. Sorry if this was a little bit long, but I wanted to make sure I got my facts straight and give you the correct information that these chapters have given you. This is how I'm going to be doing it from now on, so now I don't have to worry about paraphrasing. I can give you the facts as it says it on the chapter. So, let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. I hope you all enjoyed. I cannot wait to see you all in the next video. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples!